Now it's time to celebrate the awards. We have heard really 15 great examples of how, in a broad variety of ways, research can have an impact on policymaking, okay? And I must say, each one and every one of those that have pitched would deserve an award, and in fact, somehow they will receive an award, because everybody will receive a courtesy gift for their participation. However, now we will reveal the ones that the jury has considered especially outstanding, okay? But I think it's important to to convey the message that all the proposals were really great. I enjoyed them a lot, and they show a lot the potential of this community in terms of the impact it can have on policymaking. So congratulations to everybody. So, as I explained before, there will be 3 awards, one for each category, plus one of the audience. The 4 people that will receive the award will receive a beautiful crystal trophy, a diploma, 2 Interrail tickets, and a low-carbon travel guide to discover Europe. So, it's also... an invitation to discover our beautiful continent and open your mind and get inspired by it. Okay, so let's proceed with the awards. First of all, I would like to invite on stage Antonetta Angelova-Krasteva, Director of Innovation, Digital Education and International Cooperation at the Directorate General of Education and Culture at the European Commission and member of the jury. And she will deliver the award to the winner of the category Contribution to Wider EU Policies. I remind you that in this category we have heard about MSCA projects that have research results that are relevant to European Commission political priorities, such as, for example, the Horizon Europe mission and the European Green Deal. So, Antonietta, before announcing the winner, I wanted to ask you about your experience as a jury member, and in particular, what is your evaluation of the overall quality or the overall level of the proposals?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Michele. A wonderful question, and congratulations, actually, to all contestants, because the level was extremely high, you cannot imagine. We are splitting our hairs today. What I can say is that we would like to express our heartfelt thanks and congratulations to all 15 contestants. They are all winners because they have been selected amongst 170 passionate fellows, and they all had really great, very engaging and interesting presentations.
Great.
So, yeah, really it was very difficult for the jury.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Antonietta. So the stage is yours to announce the winner.
Well, this is a very difficult moment. Indeed, I'm really very honored to announce the winner for the category Contribution to Wider EU Policies. And the award for this category goes to Linda Brodnicka.
Artlist.io.
Congratulations. Here you are. Please stay here. Just a few words. I would like to share with the audience why we actually are giving you this award and why we've chosen your presentation. First of all, it was very engaging, a very complex topic presented in a very magical way, actually making analogy to the magic wand, how to make the energy transition. Indeed, very passionate. We are very grateful for your presentation and very happy for this award for you.
Thank you so much.
If you'd like to say a few words.
All right, well,
thank you very much for this award. I truly appreciate it. But also thank you very much for everyone for organizing this wonderful conference that really celebrates the intersection between science and policy, because this is something that is really close to my research. It's actually at the core. And I am a bit of an alien in the Department of Mechanical Engineering with that. And it was really inspiring for me to see so many people that care about this topic coming all together and celebrating it. And it was also really fantastic for me to see in all these workshops how policymakers are trying to make the academic career more interesting or more desirable as a career path, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that being implemented, because I do think that this is really important to make changes there as well. Thank you so much.
Congratulations. Thanks, Antonieta. Congratulations, Linda, for this great award. And now I call on stage Fernanda Bajanca, the Marie Curie of the Marie Curie Alumni Association and member of the jury, of course, and she will deliver the award to the winner of the category Exposure to Policymaking. So pictures that focus on MSCA projects, that include secondment, placements, and short stays in organization connected to policymaking. Welcome, Fernanda. So I was wondering, in your view and based on what you're seeing, what is the value for these researchers to engage in something as unusual somehow as a pitching competition?
I think the value is enormous, and I think this was a great initiative, because I don't know if the audience knows, but these 15 contestants that were selected, they were trained, then they were coached one-to-one to improve their pitches, to get hints on how to pass this message to policymakers, to the public. So only by that, it's very valuable. These 15 people already got their award, their prize, and I hope that this is really a huge impact on their research and on their discussions with policymakers.
Great. So now the stage is yours to announce the winner.
Yes, so now it's a difficult moment. And really difficult for this session, I have to say. We were quite polarized. We would want to give a prize to each of you. It was really difficult. But we had to take a decision. And the winner of the session for facilitating evidence for policy making is Yann Robieux-Dupont. Congratulations. Thank you, Yann. It was very clear, very enthusiastic, very informative presentation. If you want to say some words about what this means for you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, everyone, for being here. And it's nice also to put faces on the European Commission and all the people who make all this research possible. So that's very nice. Also, thank you, obviously, for all the organization that went into this event. And also, I feel that part of the project that I could present was relevant to decision-making because so many people around the research are also showing interest, engaging across disciplines, across different areas of work. And that's why I feel that it's so pleasant to do research. And so, yeah, I'm very happy to be able to engage with everyone here. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Fernanda, and congratulations, Yann. Third category, I invite on stage Antonio Mas, Vice Rector for Scientific Policy of the University of Castilla-La Mancha and member of the jury. He will reveal the award to the winner of the category Facilitating Evidence-Based Policymaking, which focus on MSCA projects that include activities for dissemination and exploitation of research output towards policy stakeholders. Welcome, Antonio. So I was wondering, what is your personal takeaway of this experience? How was your experience as a jury member?
I don't know if Do you know the TV series that is called Malcolm in the Middle? The entrance, the song finished, life is unfair. No? And awards also are unfair because, not because people don't deserve, but because all the participants deserve some kind of award. And this jury has a winner for this category, but for sure other juries could be elect other people.
Of course. Okay, so the floor is
for
yours.
this category, the winner of exposure to policy making is Jilin Wang. Congratulations. Do you want to say a word?
I did not prepare a speech for this one, so but thank you very much to jury members and also all the organizers. This conference has been the best one I've ever attended, to be honest. And I want to give a very special shout out to Hibo, who has helped us so much. He's unbelievable. And we have had such a good experience, all the fellow contestants. I love you guys. I hope we will remain friends. And I'm getting a little bit emotional here, but thank you so much for this memorable experience. And I love clouds, and my parting words to you guys is don't always look at your mobile phones. Look up sometimes. It's beautiful.
Thanks, Antonio, and congratulations to Yiling. And now it's the turn of the award chosen by the audience. So I invite on stage Izaskun Lacunza, Director of Science for Policy at the Spanish Foundation for Science and Technology, FECYT. She will deliver the award to the author of the pitch that was most voted by the audience. So Izaskun, I wanted to gather your impressions on this specific community, the MSCA community. What is the potential of this community to tackle global challenges, which is the topic of the event, based on what you have seen in this pitching session?
Thank you, Michele. Well, first of all, I have to say that I enjoyed very much being a jury, but I hope I will never be a jury again in my life because it's been really tough to make a decision. And regarding your question, I think that quoting Claire, I would say that thanks to MSCA being a bottom-up initiative, it was amazing to see how many different topics and challenges you are addressing, and I think they were all super interesting. And I really hope that this conference has somehow become a boost of energy for all of us, because we are aware that we are doing is a little bit of an alien, as Linda was saying. It's not easy what we are doing, and I like to think that we somehow are creating a community of people really caring about science for policy. So thank you to everybody.
Great. So the floor is yours.
Now, the prize. So I was amazed to see that we got over 1,000 votes during the 3 sessions, which is quite amazing. And it was a tough competition. It was the same as for the jury ourselves, for the public. But still, there is a winner, and the winner of the public is Neus Escobar. Enhorabuena. Ponte aquí, que nos vamos a hacer una foto. Thank you, Neus.
Well,
The floor is yours.
Because I think this is very special. I think this is actually the award that I wanted to win, because this tells me a lot that the message we are giving gets through the general audience, which is also very important, not only policymakers, and also to all my friends who are there voting, and this is very important. And then the message I wanted to give you, first, I hope you don't feel very guilty for eating chocolate. It's just to tell you that, just to be aware that consuming anything has an impact somewhere else. So I think this is enough to get from this conference, and thanks to the organization for the amazing event, and also for all the coaching sessions that I think they give us a lot of useful knowledge that we will need to influence policy making, because it's never easy to work or to increase the impact of our recommendations, especially for sustainability. And yes, thank you very much.
Thanks, Isaskun. Congratulations, Neo. So now I would like to invite on stage the winners and the full jury to take a picture, but then we will take a picture with all the participants and the jury as well. So bear with me, and then we will have a further session after the pictures. Great. Okay, so please, the winner, the jury behind, and the winner here. Yeah. The winners? The whole participants? Okay, so please come, all the candidates come on stage, and we will do a group picture of everybody. Dime. Vale, ok. Por favor, si podéis abriros un poco, porque si no, no se verá la cara. Es decir, poneros un poco. Okay, if you can move so that your face will be visible. So try to make yourself visible, okay, amid of the crowd. So just move your heads in such a way that the photographer, if you can see the photographer, he will be able to see you. Okay, thanks a lot. Thanks and congratulations once again. Oh. You can go down and I call you back. Yeah, don't worry. So definitely, it was a great bunch of people, really, really interesting. And me personally, I must say, as a journalist, I will go back from this conference with a lot of ideas to follow up upon, so great input. So the pitching competition has been one of the special things of this event. And as the jury has said, and in conversation that I have with the participants, they really appreciated the fact of going through this specific format as a way to improve communication about their research, even focus on specific objectives, and also being prepared for ways of communicating their research that they will face in their career activity, ranging from, talking to funders, talking to politicians, which is the topic, in fact, of this event, even getting a new position when they will go away from the one they have now. So we thought it would be interesting to have a conversation on this topic with one of the members of the jury, who, in fact, was the former winners of the Falling Walls Lab, which is a reference pitch competition in Europe. So I would like to invite on stage Thomas Huchalik, which is an industrial PhD at Encardia, a biotech company, a grant fellow of MSCA, and a former winner of the Falling Walls Lab, to have a short conversation on his experience there. So Thomas, welcome on stage.
Thank you.
So thanks a lot for sharing your experience with us. First of all, I would like yourself to introduce yourself. What is your background? What is your research about?
Yeah, my pleasure. So I'm a medical engineer by training. As you've said, I'm part of an ITN network, Personalized AF, where we try to personalize atrial fibrillation, so it's a heart rhythm disorder. And me specifically, I'm working in the lab with stem cells, trying to create disease models where we find new mechanisms of why this disease arises. Yeah.
Okay, great. And could you tell to the people that may not know about it, what is the Falling Wall Lab? I mean, in what it consists?
Yeah, so a Falling Walls Lab, pretty much similar to the pitch we did today, right? It's a short pitch session where you show your research, what you did, and exactly like this last year at the MSCA conference, we had such a pitch where 15 of us from postdocs, PhDs showed their own experience, their own projects in just 3 short minutes.
Yeah, and I understand it is very applied. There are different Falling Walls categories, and the labs is really on applied research, right?
Exactly, yeah, it's very focused on research, on innovation technologies.
Yeah. I must say, I was at the Falling Walls some years ago. I think it was in pre-pandemic time, which is now the reference definition, and it was really great. I mean, you get an infusion of new ideas, you get to learn about how people communicate in an effective way, so you also learn skills by watching at these people. A little bit like we have seen today, we have seen a wide variety of strategies from the candidates, ranging from telling a story, a personal story, a story of their country, or focusing on a problem, or building a narrative, a circular narrative, a linear one. As a scholar in communication, as I am, it was interesting to see how all the different strategies were deployed.
Yeah.
So I was curious about how you got interested in the Falling Walls Lab, how you got in contact with this experience.
Yeah, for me personally, it was through our project manager of the ITN who sent out an email saying, hey, we have this opportunity, would you like to join? And me personally, I did have some experience pitching before from university, so I was generally interested in participating in something like that. It was the first time I did a pitch competition, which I think is probably the same for most of the contestants, but I think it's a great experience, so I would definitely do it again. Okay. Maybe not in this competition because it was very, tough competition, but...
Okay, yes. Later I will tell you about the specifics of this competition, but first of all, I wanted to know, what did you pitch? I mean, what was your research about or your proposal about at that moment?
Yeah, I think I was pretty lucky with my topic because, as you know, with a pitch, it might be difficult to condense it down to 3 minutes. So if you have something that's easy to form a metaphor around or to tell a story, that makes it nicer to present to people. And for me, because it's heart research, we all have mental connections with the topic of heartbeat. So for me specifically, it was the sound of a heartbeat. So I think for a lot of people, that's something they can immediately connect with, so it makes it easier to pitch the concept of heart rhythm to them.
And could you tell me something more about the concept you were working on, and a little bit more about your research on heart?
Yeah. So I think the specific disease that we're researching is atrial fibrillation, which is the upper part of the heart is beating irregularly, and it's a quite common disease, mostly for older people. But a lot of people are not familiar with arrhythmias. So in the pitch, I try to show people how, when you stick your fingers in your ear, you hear your normal heart rhythm, just normally beating along. But in an arrhythmia, that starts to get crazy. It gets out of rhythm, and that's scary, and I think that's an important topic for people to learn about and know.
Okay. And were you proposing a specific technological solution or a research strategy? What was your proposal about?
For our specific research project, the idea was to look at a new mechanism of the disease to suggest that it might be due to immune cells, so inflammation causing the heart muscle to become irregular. And this is sort of a new branch we're looking into research. And for me specifically, I'm working with stem cells, where we use induced pluripotent stem cells and create heart cells to then see how could inflammation cause this disease.
Wow, that is very interesting because you are dealing with a complex issue with a lot of technical aspects involving a lot of scientific knowledge, And in principle, one could think, how on earth could I condense these in 3 minutes or in a very short pitch? But as we have seen in these days, it's really, there are ways, there are techniques, there are things that you can learn, ways that you can work with to really convey the message in a clear way, but at the same time, without dumbing it down, without treating your audience as, fools, but really trying really to condense and focus on the key message. It's something I'm very keen of because, as journalists, and especially as science journalists, it's what we are doing all the time. So what I'm working with my students all the time is, turn it around, let's discuss it, let's see it from a different angle in a way, and suddenly a title or a way of explaining things appear that is really transparent, okay, and at the same time rigorous, okay?
And I think in a way it really connects to MSCA with the ITNs in a very unique way. We all share this experience who do MSCA. You have this network with, let's say, 15 other PhD students with other postdocs, and they might not be in the same field. For me specifically, I'm a lab person, I work with cells, but we have other people who do computer modeling, who do animal testing, who do machine learning, and we're far away, but we're still on the same topic, so we need to be able to communicate, show what is the research we're doing, what is the overlap, and I think that's a very unique and amazing aspect of these networks.
Yeah. In fact, I must say something that I've been working first as a scientist and then as a science journalist for now 20 plus years, and I've seen a great change in how the scientific community perceives these issues. So when I started, it was seen as, we must do our work, serious work as scientists, and communication is something annoying that you have to do, with this crazy guy calling you and whatever. But in time, I think people have really understood that it is in fact part, and it has always been part of science, The anecdote I always quote is that Darwin wrote a book that changed the history of science, which was a popular science book, The Origin of Species. It was basically without footnotes. He had 800 pages, and his editor told him, no, you have to shorten it down. So it has always been part of science. And moreover, it's not only a matter of idealism, we need to give to society what they give us in terms of funding. It's really a matter of something that has an impact on your career. As you mentioned, even talking with your colleagues, science is a very specialized business, okay? So even talking with the colleagues at the lab in the other door requires for you some level of translation of what you're doing to somebody that may not be familiar to all the technical aspects, etc. So I'm very pleased, in fact, that communication is definitely becoming an important branch in scientific activity. It is not that everybody must become a TikToker. It is that everybody must be open and ready to communicate in a way that is effective, definitely. So could you tell us how it went? I mean, you went there in Berlin, and how did it look like? And
Yeah, it was a very interesting experience. So the Falling Walls Lab event in Berlin, it's, I think, maybe one of the biggest pitch competitions there are. So there were different sections about engagement, social issues, and the Falling Walls Lab that I was a part of, I think we had several dozens of people pitching, right? A whole day from morning to end. And it was an amazing variety, lots of topics that you might not have considered before, but that really stuck with you. And because all of them were really amazing and interesting pitches, they pull you in. And I think that's one great aspect of pitching, that because you condense it, because you make it interesting, the audience is more engaged with the topic itself.
Okay, and so you went there, you released your pitch, and then you are declared winner.
In Berlin, unfortunately not. In Berlin, someone else won. But at the MSCA Falling Walls Lab there, yes. But I think the same is here, right? With these pitches, they're all amazing. People give a great performance, and it's impossible to decide sometimes which of them is really, really the best.
Okay. Yep. So, given your experience, I was wondering whether you had any advice, for both for the people that have made pitch, but for anybody in the room that may find himself or herself in the situation of having to convey the message in a very clear way in a short time, maybe to somebody that is not aware of the topic. What would your advice be to these people?
Yeah, I think this is advice maybe to the audience, because a lot of the people pitching definitely did this correctly. I think for us as scientists, we have complicated issues. We can talk about it for hours, but most of the people we're talking to, they might not be familiar with it. So the secret is to pick up your audience somewhere where they're already at. Take something that in their mind they can immediately connect with. So if you take an easy analogy, something that everybody's familiar with, it makes it easier to hit the ground running and get right to the pitch instead of having, to explain a lot and really get the audience on your level first.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. In fact, a few days ago, I was having a conversation with a researcher, and he was telling me, oh, I'm so annoyed that these journalists are asking me, he was talking about television journalists, that they asked me to condense my research in 1 minute. It's really crazy. I cannot dumbing it down like this. And I tried to convey to him, okay, imagine that you are on the receiving side, that somebody talking about something widely, international law. He was a fire scientist, okay? So something widely away from his field, whether his attention would would stay high for 5 minutes, a 10 minutes presentation, etc. Probably not. Probably it would become, he would lose the track, he would not understand what is the point. So it's not a matter of dumbing down, it's really a matter of serving your audience somehow.
And I think it really comes down to, you have to decide what is the information you want to give someone. And I think, especially with this competition, I think it made all of us think, how can you take your research topic and connect it to policy? So I think what we were looking at is these amazing scientists showing their work in a very specific light on how can it inform policy, how is it interacting with policy. And I think for us also as a jury, it makes you reevaluate the science in how it connects with policy. Yeah,
absolutely. And I was wondering a little bit about your takeaway of the experience, how it has influenced also your follow-up career, if it has had an influence.
Yeah, I think pitching, once you do it, it's always fun to get back on stage and do again, and I think it is an enriching experience, especially once you get more used to public speaking and things like that. And that's, of course, a really great skill to have in any career. For me personally, I'm finishing my PhD, and then afterwards we'll see where it goes. But I think presenting your work, your research in a concise way is something useful that you can use in any career path. Okay. So it becomes, let's say, a tool in your toolbox somehow that you can use, like the skills you learn with specific experimental techniques or with writing a paper, then you also have this tool. Yes, exactly. I mean, even at family dinner table, right? When your parents ask you, what is your research? If you can concise it to a 3-minute soundbite, that's helpful.
That is a real challenge. In fact, it's curious that some of the things you are saying are typical exercises that you do in science communication workshops, like, take a very complex text or a very complex speech and turn it around many times, cutting away, the edges and deciding what you keep in and what you remove, or the family table exercise. So tell the story to, your partner, your grandfather, or whatever, somebody that is completely away from your interests, and see whether you manage to convey the message and to convey also the interest, the passion, the motivation. Why should they care about this topic?
Yeah. It's a little bit a dangerous exercise, because a good pitch will lead to more questions. So you have to decide.
Yeah. Especially if your grandfather is a vaccine denier or whatever. That is challenging as well. Yeah. Okay, so I was wondering about the follow-up story of your pitch. Were you able to work more on that specific topic, or do you move to other fields? I mean, what happened afterwards?
Yeah, I think we all as researchers are familiar with, you start with one question and it just keeps going. And especially with the process right now, we're condensing things into a paper and bringing it to publication, and revisions take time. But yeah, we started out with this topic and we followed up, looking into mechanisms, investigating specific genes. And it's a feature of research, right? You start with the beginning questions, and the next question is just right around the corner.
Yeah, of course. And I think that is also a quite important message that sometimes it's hard for me as a reporter to convey to scientists. We are not really necessarily interested only in the paper, or in the peer-reviewed paper with the result, etc. Sometimes you are interested in the question. Okay, that is also a topic of reporting. If the question is new, if it's controversial, if there are, 3 possible answers, and we can go through them. So I think, and also the process, science, depending on, how you tell it, it can be really a fascinating enterprise, People is doing all sorts of things. There are life trajectories that are extremely fascinating. Scientists put themselves in situations that are crazy to understand how the world works, okay? So that is interesting in itself. So that is an important message, because often you get to know about something only when the peer-reviewed paper is published, and that is, very late, okay? All the flesh and blood of the science has happened before, and we are interested in covering it, and I think society in general would be interested. And moreover, it's what we have seen in the pandemics, the science really stripped open, and we have seen live how it works, and what are the challenges, what are the pitfalls, and everything. So now I would leave a round of questions from the audience, and then a last declaration by Thomas.
Sure.
If there's any thought, question, comment. Please, Fernanda.
Sure,
okay.
I can just repeat the question.
Yeah, but for the streaming, it would be nice if somebody could bring her a mic. No, but in order to be heard in the streaming, we really need to have it through a microphone, yeah.
I have a question, because last year I was in the jury also, and I was really struck by your pitch, because you were talking at the same time you were making a heart rhythm with your hands. Are you a musician? How could you? It was impressive.
Actually, indeed, yeah. I think it's interesting how these things can suddenly overlap. Yeah, I used to play musical instruments and engage in music, and it was fun that this overlaps. These topics of rhythm, they both connect to the heart and music. So it was nice to see how in the pitch that kind of united in a way. Yeah.
Thank you.
Great. Any other question, comment, remark? You have the opportunity to say something bad to a journalist if you want, so I'm prepared.
Questions to Michaela.
So if you want to take it as a therapeutic experience, okay. No? Okay, fine. Otherwise, I would like to close our conversation with any thought, any message for the MSCA community. What is your...
Yeah, in general, I'm just really appreciative of the contest, of the organization. I think for the pitchers this time, it was a great experience. For me, a year ago, it was as well, and hopefully next year again. And I think it's a learning experience, and it's really engaging for all of us to see these amazing projects that other people are presenting. So I think in general, it's a great opportunity and a great experience.
Great. Thanks a lot, Thomas.
Thank you, Michele.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So thanks again to Thomas. Congratulations to everybody. Now I will check his video with the drumming of the heart.